Okay.
I would agree to that change, if that's what you're doing. How are we doing this? How are we running through this?
Just section, I thought we should just go section by section.
Okay.
That way, we won't miss anything.
Where are you gonna start? At the beginning?
Yeah, at the beginning.
Okay, and I did want to look again at the 1.2.4 section. So we're still in that wonderful section that does not, I don't know
Let's see.
if it's the charter. Because in here, it's the special meetings of council, means it's called pursuant to a charter. Upon 12-hour written notice to the mayor and each member, including signatures of the calling members. Let's see here.
That's in rules?
That's in
Right, but
our rules.
But
That's
it
not in.
references Article 3 section, so that same section we were talking about from the charter.
I think sometimes it's not being called by 3 members.
Usually,
So I'm thinking of a regular council meeting. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a committee meeting, not a regular council meeting. Because it does say by 3 members, remember?
right,
When we would have it, 3 council members will have to sign.
right.
Right.
And I'm thinking of committee meetings, not a council meeting.
And that's in
Those
here
would still have to be
somewhere.
called by 3 members. It's still a special meeting.
Well, I'm saying I can't recall the 3 signatures on the, unless you're not doing it. I don't see it, so,
It's somewhere though, right?
yeah.
We-
It's supposed to be 3.
Okay, so
Wouldn't it make
in,
more sense that it
in-
would be right here?
right, in council rules 1.2.4, that's where it says the 12-hour notice to the mayor and each member, including signatures of the calling members.
Okay.
I'm concerned why it says 12 and not 24.
We talked about this before, that's why it was so prevalent in my mind, because the charter,
Charter says 24.
yeah,
Okay, so we should change 1.2.4 to 24?
Yeah?
the charter says 24, so this should be 24,
2.4.
especially for a special meeting. I mean, that would, and that's what we've adhered to all this time.
Yeah.
Right.
So what about the signature part?
It does say signatures of the calling members, but I don't know how clear that is. It says at the request of the mayor or any 3 members.
Right, and it used to be that if it was a request of the mayor, and this is where the nitpicky stuff started, the mayor's secretary would then, we would sign it and the secretary would post it. But if it's called by a council member, then the clerk will post it. But
Or-
I don't know
I
that
thought
that's
we were
been
talking
done
about the
for a long.
signature part. Is it, I still think it should be signed. My opinion is
Right,
it should still be signed, because you have to know who's calling it.
Correct.
right. So it says, including signatures of the calling members. But it has the S in parentheses, as if it doesn't require, like all 3 signatures. I think we should make that clear.
Well, it would be 1 if it was the mayor.
Oh, I see, okay.
I can't see the verbiage specifically. Would that make sense if it was 1 if the mayor?
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
Then that's
That
probably
does
why.
make sense, okay. And I'm assuming that's probably in the charter as well?
Yeah, it is.
In a charter, it does talk about any 3 members of council can call one with a 24-hour notice by the mayor or the council. So the only thing I think we need to look at in here is that 12 hours to 24. The charter does not say,
The charter doesn't say anything about the signatures.
right.
We added that in rules.
Written notice. So is that something we want to add to the charter? Because I think we have to have a
We can't-
charter.
We can't add it to the charter. That would take the people.
I know, but it's, if you have a charter committee, or, you know what I mean, like a charter, what am I thinking
The
about?
charter review committee.
The charter review
Task
committee.
force. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
And then we'd have
it's
to
every
put it on
5
the-
years, and I think you put it together at the end of the year.
put it on the ballot,
Yeah.
so I think we should do that, right?
Well, Miller Novak was here when we did it last, and he just did one, he didn't even go through the whole thing.
Right,
So it probably is needed. He just did one section, one paragraph, actually.
well, I think we should,
I'm sorry, do you think that it's not implied, but it's written that those signatures are needed? Because it says an organizational meeting shall be held on or before January 10th following the general election of council members. Special meetings may be called by the mayor or by any 3 members of council on 24 hours. Written notice served on each member of council personally. Do you think that it's implied that the 3 are the signatures with the change?
I don't think it's implied.
I don't either.
It's silent about it.
Yeah, both documents say 3, and both documents also say unless council waives this notice.
Right.
So we're covered there.
I do think that it should require the signatures,
Right.
so that you know which 3 members called it, or if the mayor called it.
That's what I was saying, that it's implied that they should sign. I didn't say that part, you know. I know one document you said it says signatures. Is that what the rules
It's
say?
the rules.
That's what the rules say.
Signature.
Yeah, those calling the meeting need to sign. Remember how Amber used to, she was diligent about that.
Yep.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
And there is another part, I wish I could find it real quick. We should be answering with yays or nays, not yes and no. Does that make a difference? The charter, I think it's in the charter, so let me look at that. You go,
It says all
oh,
votes
here,
shall
all
be
votes
taken
shall
by
be taken by
yes,
yays and nays.
by yes and nays.
What?
No, it says
What
yays.
section is
It's
that?
Y-E-A-S, it says yays.
And it's, yeah, it does say yays and nays.
What?
Yeah. I missed the A. It's in the same section, section 3.05, council meetings.
The last paragraph, actually the last sentence.
That's funny.
Yays and nays entered upon the journal. Seriously.
I know.
Do we care?
No.
Sounds,
I just thought I'd bring it up because it's something we're not doing.
Well,
I mean, otherwise, there's a lot of stuff that has to be redone.
right. It's one of those things that I don't think, I don't know.
It's not worth the money
Isn't-
to get it corrected
right.
either.
Isn't a yay the same thing as a yes?
Yay.
Okay. I'm going back to the rules. Special meeting of committee,
so it's decided we're going to leave that one alone?
what do you mean?
The yay and nay?
Well, that would be a change to the charter.
I understand.
And
That's
so-
why I'm saying we're leaving it alone, right?
Well, if we are going to fix the charter, we might as well fix everything in the charter, so. We might as well fix it all. Yes or no, or,
I will put it under the council charter one, and if we do anything with it, then we'll address it then.
Okay,
But if
sounds
we
good.
don't, we won't. Is that fair?
that is more than fair.
So far, that's the only item I have that's charter related. Is that accurate? Did I miss any?
Nope. Yeah, I was gonna go through the charter after we went through the rules, but I guess same time.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. Okay, so special meeting of a committee. Oh, I didn't know that. Any two members of a committee upon 12-hour notice to the mayor and each member of council.
Say that again?
So a special meeting of a committee can be called by any two members of that committee
Is this in rules or the charter?
in the rules. It says, special meeting of committee means a meeting called at the request of the committee chair or any two members of a committee upon 12-hour notice to the mayor and each member of council. The notice shall include signatures of the calling members.
I'm going to throw my challenge flag out on that one. Because that would still, at least my rationale is that would still be a special meeting. So whether it's in the rules or not, the charter trumps the rules.
But it's a special meeting of a committee, though, not,
It's, in the eyes of the law, a meeting is a meeting, is a meeting is a meeting.
But in general,
It's
the
still an
committees,
open meeting.
I don't think they're saying not announce it. I just think that the
The
reason it's
charter
only
says 3 people can
But
call a
that's-
meeting.
of a council meeting, though, right?
of a council meeting.
Let's see.
I'm throwing my challenge flag. You guys can talk about all you want. I ain't buying it.
Let's see.
Oh, you saying?
Special meetings. It doesn't say
can-
special council meetings, it just says special
There's
meetings.
notice for all regular meetings, special meetings, and committee
How
meetings.
about I'm going to put that in the action items for Miss Erica to follow up with Mr. Dieters.
Okay.
Because the
Miss,
difference-
Can
the
you tell me
difference-
what section that was?
Ms. Underwood,
Yes.
again, what was the question?
So in the charter, the section it's under is council meetings.
In the charter and rules?
In the
rules.
charter. I'm looking at the charter right now.
Okay.
And the charter is the one that says 3 members of council, right? Now, when you look at the rules, it says special meeting of committee. So it's talking about, and then the section that it's under is definitions as used in these rules of council. So it says special meetings of council under 1.2.4, and then under 1.2.5, special meetings of committee. And then a special meeting of the committee can be called by any 2 committee members. Whereas a special meeting of council requires 3 members.
And wave your flag some more, because it also says the committee chair can call the meeting.
Right.
So she doesn't need 2 backups if she doesn't want to.
But it's for a special meeting.
Special committee, these are
Special
committee
committee
meetings.
I understand. But if it's a special anything, so it's not a regularly scheduled meeting,
Right.
I think the charter trumps it.
Well,
Well-
I think we're splitting hairs, because the charter doesn't even tell us anything about a special committee.
The under the charter is talking about council meetings.
It
So the-
also says what Mary Jo just said. It says special meetings. I understand
has
what
to
you're
talk about
saying. A meeting is a meeting, whether it's special or not. I think that's what you're saying. I don't want to put words in your mouth. It says a special meeting, whether it's a special council meeting, a special committee meeting, may be called by, then it goes into that same phrase. And it says 3 members of council on a 24-hour. I get what you're saying, because a meeting is a meeting, whatever,
Yes, but-
regardless.
But it doesn't say committee.
It doesn't
Right.
say
They're
committee.
referring to council meetings
Right,
in
they're
this
talking about
reference.
council meetings specifically, though, because section 3.05 is talking about council meetings.
Hey, guys,
Yes?
Can we just add this to the follow-up section and move on? Because
Yeah.
we're not going to agree on this.
Yeah, we're not going to agree, but
We're going to have to reach out to a lawyer.
While we're still on the 1.2.5, can we look
Yes.
at the 12-hour notice?
I think that our rules can be different from the charter as long as they don't conflict with the charter.
Okay. That sounds
And
reasonable.
that's a committee meeting, right? Not a council meeting. So we'll keep going. Okay. And then shall means, we're gonna, the definition of shall, and the Supreme Court of the United States agrees with these rules, by the way. Shall means the action is imperative. Yes, there are many cases that define shall. Because some statutes say shall as opposed to may. May is a choice. Shall is imperative. Okay. Disturbing a lawful meeting. Okay, I'm not really sure why that's in there.
Those were relevant at one.
At one time,
when
it
they
was
were
very
added.
relevant.
Ah,
But
okay.
it still didn't stick to the wall. The guy still came in every meeting, and
So a guy came in and disturbed meetings
yeah, we'd go,
every
"He's
time.
back."
Huh?
Then we'd just sit here and go, "He's back."
That's funny. Okay. It goes on to committee of the whole. When a particular matter or issue merits consideration by all standing committees or the entire council, the president of council may refer the matter to the committee of the whole, consisting of all members of council. And then the president of council shall report on the activities of the committee of the whole. Does anybody have something about that?
Nope.
Okay. Away we go. Amendment and suspension of council rules. A vote is required to amend, rescind, or adopt by the favorable vote of a majority of the members. The amendment, rescission, or adoption of the proposed newly created rule shall go into effect at the next regularly scheduled session of council, except where the charter otherwise provides any rule may be suspended at the meeting of council or a meeting of the committee by a favorable vote of at least 2/3 of the members or the committee members as applicable without debate. What does that mean? Why would we suspend council rules?
I'd like to suspend the rules so that I'd like to suspend and suspend second and third readings. My goodness, the words wouldn't come out. So the rules
Oh, I
say
see.
you have to have three
Three
readings.
readings, okay.
So you suspend the rules so that you can move forward.
Okay. Got it. Anything about that? Okay, away we go. Procedure in absence of rule. In the absence of a rule, the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order shall govern, which, that causes no end of great debate, by the way. The matter shall be determined by a majority of the members present. Okay. Anything about that? Okay. Rules of courtesy and decorum. I know that there was some brouhaha about this one, right? Okay. Shall give our citizens a courteous and respectful hearing of their views. Citizens shall be made to feel welcome with an appropriate greeting at the beginning of each council and committee meeting. Welcome. Council, let's see, recognizes that citizens make significant personal sacrifices to attend council and committee meetings, as well as public hearings. So council shall be respectful of the time being given by the citizens and shall hear from them in a prompt and timely manner.
Could you tell me what section you're in?
1.5.
Thank you.
I emailed them to you.
I'm trying to catch up. I was doing minutes. I wasn't
Okay.
following along.
Council recognizes that citizens coming before council may not always agree with the views of the members. All points of view shall be heard respectfully without reproach or admonition. In any debate of public issues, differences of opinion are to be expected, and the civil, respectful, and transparent airing of those differences is encouraged in order to test ideas and develop consensus. I would just like to point out that our city council is now all women. And it has always been my, this is going to step on a few toes. I apologize. I do have 2 sons, for those of you out there in viewing land. I think if this country were run by women, I'm just saying.
You might want to look and extend that comment to the other table, too.
Yes, there are all women in this room currently. And, you know, when there weren't all women up here, we had no end of problems and just like kerfluffles. But I'm just saying.
Might I
Good
go so far
observation.
as to say that, and I'll sure I'll get hate email for this one, but the 2 positions that are typically the secretarial roles are the 2 roles that are filled by men.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is like one of my favorite Supreme Court justices, we're just going down black holes here. She had a quote, "When there are 9." So the question was, somebody asked her once, when will there be enough women on the United States Supreme Court?
Oh, wow, yes.
And her response was, when there are 9.
Nice.
I love it.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm just saying. So, oh, okay, I digressed. Okay. Debate shall not become a personal attack on the speaker. Letters to members deserve serious consideration and a timely, appropriate response. Letters to the clerk of council, even those that may be critical, shall be made a part of the record of council. Any issues with that? Decorum and civility shall be observed at all times by members of council. This includes prompt and regular attendance at all meetings of council, including those times dedicated to public comment. Do we have a time dedicated to public comment?
Yes, 2 of them.
Oh, okay. That's right. During meetings of council, speaking of, can we like change the agenda, or is the agenda set somewhere? Set
You haven't
in
gotten there yet.
Haven't gotten there, okay, because I'm like, our agenda is kind of, I don't know, ridiculous, but.
It's in here.
Okay. So during meetings of council, including those times dedicated to public comment, neither the mayor nor members shall engage in lengthy side conversations. Such conversations shall occur outside council chambers. Okay? Council will dress professionally and present itself professionally to the public. That's kind of vague. Dress professionally always, or just during council meetings, or?
May I?
That's a little vague.
In years past, because I'm a dinosaur, you know, I've been on this for a long time. So back in the day, this rule said to dress professionally as like a casual Friday, which meant not jeans, regular pants, a collared shirt that was for the men, and a tie. In the winter, they wore suits and ties. In the summer, they just wore a shirt with no tie. But like Dockers or something. And they expected of the women to do the same thing, dresses or skirts, and professional attire. And I've addressed this one other time. Do I have to go down that rabbit hole?
No.
Thank you. So it's really been trimmed down.
It's been intentionally made vague
Okay.
to some level of,
Because one comment was made that I work from home and this is how I dress. And it's like, okay.
well, and then there was a comment about make it say work attire, and then everyone, what job do you have that it's work attire? So it's,
No, I think it was office attire is how it's addressed. That's how it was addressed in the past.
okay.
Because of that very issue, work attire. I mean, if I work in a factory, do I want to come in that factory uniform? I think not. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. That makes sense.
If
I
if
like it vague.
could.
Sorry, Madam Mayor.
I said if I could, I won't sit here and say that I have not heard remarks about the dress. I'll just say initially it was business professional. When I was here and there, it's a business meeting. And I've had people say, you know, I don't want to look at the people who are handling official city business in T-shirts, sweatshirts, what have you. I would agree, but again, I'm not in that position nor that. And I think we had this several years ago. I said I address it, but, you know, it's primarily up to council at that particular point to say, hey, these are what our rules say, you're breaking it. You can talk to your blue in the face. But I have, you know, heard comments like, why they wear T-shirts? Where they do that at? I said, I don't know. And I always direct them
Yeah.
to Mr. Graver. I don't know that they reach out, but I don't know.
And the issue is there's no level of, no way to correct it, or you can just keep telling them if they don't do anything about it, we have no cutoff. I mean, it's not like we can say, okay, 3 times and you're fired. You know, you can't do that. Well, there is a way to get rid of council members, but I'm not sure how that works.
I'll have to vote them out.
I don't want to know how it works.
I think if you didn't make it as vague, if you say what exactly that you want, if you, unfortunately, you would have to say no T-shirts, no hoodies, no sweatshirts, no blah, blah, blah. I think it used to be we couldn't wear blue jeans, but then we had some of the members that said, well, you can't see behind the black skirt anyway, so.
Well, you can when you stand up for prayer and
Yeah,
pledge.
you can. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, I don't know.
So I will, clearly I am in a sweatshirt tonight, so.
This is a committee meeting.
Well, and that's kind of where I was going. Do we want to put any type of delineating factors of council meetings versus committee meetings?
I think so.
And then I agree with Tracy. So for the council meeting, let's say no T-shirts.
No sweatshirts.
No
hoodies.
sweatshirts, no,
No jeans.
and put examples in it?
Right. No leggings.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we put in the term office attire,
I would put business.
business, that was
Yeah.
even better.
Because it's a business meeting, and business, when you think, so for instance, I say, I was having a conversation with somebody else. I said, if I'm going to see an attorney and he has on a T-shirt and some shorts, how serious did you take my appointment with you?
Exactly.
You know, because 9 times out of 10, I'm not wearing jeans to even meet you on my personal business matter. So I think it's all in, you know, what the approach is. And we all know it. If you don't set those type of standards that you're looking for, nobody's going to adhere to them. And you have to have someone say, you know, these are the rules, you know, whether it's the president of council or whomever. But I think if you set them in your rules, then if they're going to be here, they have to abide by it.
Yeah.
So I think I would be, unfortunately, is you have to be direct in a lot of things and say, what business casual is. If it's going to be business casual, because business casual could be no tie.
Right.
Our business casual here on Friday is you can wear jeans, but you can't wear distressed jeans, like jeans with holes in them.
Yeah.
You
Isn't
got to
that
have on a
amazing?
decent shirt. We would prefer no gym shoes, but
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
we
business
should also
casual.
have that in our examples of the no sweatshirts, no gym shoes, no flip-flops, no, sorry.
not well. I only wear them on committee meetings, if you think
Okay.
about it. I only
All
wear them
right.
on committee meetings.
Well, I wear gym shoes to court, so I'm just saying.
Do you?
I do. Yes.
And I'll
I
be
am
in
not
gym
the
shoes
only
soon
one.
to doctor's orders, so.
Yes.
All right.
There is quite a bit of walking around the courthouse, and there are marble floors and elevators
And
that
they'll
don't
kill you.
always work,
Yes.
and it is not, yes, there are, yes.
Trucking in them things in heels is awful.
You typically, we wear heels only if we're in trial.
Can we have another classification for special meetings?
So we're going backwards.
No, attire.
Oh, attire for special meetings. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Because sometimes it's not like scheduled, like you're rushed. What do we think we should be for special meetings?
Same as committee meetings. I mean, casual, I think casual dress is okay.
So even special council meetings, we can dress like,
Oh.
that's what I'm saying,
Special council meetings,
yes.
I think a special council meeting should be held in the same regard as
Right.
a regular council meeting.
Okay,
right? Should be just, same, I agree.
so I'm going to get real nitpicky. Do we want to say after 4 violations, you get a demerit on your conduct card? Sorry, I'm having Macaulay flashbacks here.
I can't find it, but I thought somewhere, sometime, maybe in times past, that if a person was reprimanded too many times for dress, they were asked to leave if they showed up at council again in the attire that is not appropriate. They were asked to
Well,
leave for
that
that
could be
meeting.
an incentive.
Well, I want, before we even make a decision on that, because here's the next sentence. It
Right,
says.
we haven't gotten that far yet, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I'm not talking about you. I was just talking about, like, at some point, I mean, I think we need to, in the past, there have been people who just weren't coming to meetings, like, a lot of meetings, and we just kind of let it go.
Yes.
And I just don't think that we should do that. If you miss a certain number of meetings, we all need to step up and say, hey, that person needs not to be here anymore. I mean,
I do not disagree with you.
okay, but I know I'm jumping way ahead. I'm sorry.
You did.
what
Are
was
we
that?
talking
you're right.
about, what meetings? City council meetings? Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, we're going through the rules since, thought we would just kind of go work through them. And once we work through all of them, we can go, call a committee of the whole, update them and make them make sense. So we are at section, are we still on 1.2.5?
Yes, we're still finishing up. We have a few more sentences to go to at 10, because the one I find just a little humorous. Members shall hold themselves and each other accountable for complying with these standards.
Yeah.
What a brouhaha that could be.
Well,
So,
I think that, we're on 1.5. I think that, that's what I was getting to. I think that we
I think in there.
we let a lot of stuff slide that we shouldn't have let slide.
Exactly. And I think in there, because I think it used to read that the president of council, does that make sense to you? You were on all these roles, so that the president of council used to be the one to speak for the other I hate to put that person in that role.
Well, so what would happen, someone would come to me with the issue. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you've had an issue, and
Yes.
I went to the person on multiple occasions, and if you recall, I said to you, I whipped out the charter and said, according to the charter, I've done everything that I can do. There's nothing I can do.
Right.
At this particular point, it's up to council now. You have to get with your fellow council members, and you guys have to say, this is an issue, this is the issue, this is what we need to do, which would be to set that person down, suspend them, or do what have you.
And that person was very unwilling to comply.
So I would, in that position, someone would bring it to my attention, even if it were a citizen or what have you, it would bring it to my attention, and then I would go and have a discussion with that council member.
Right.
And I would bring up the charter, the rules, or what have you. But depending on the individual, one changed the behavior of what they were doing. The other one, as you said, would not comply. I even saw legal. And they said, there's nothing in the rules or the charter that speaks against the issue that you're having, so.
Right. The last thing, it addresses all electronic devices shall be silenced during the council. Well, we know that's our cell phones. We know it's not the laptops that we use.
Right, so why
But
can't we just
for
say cell
future-
phones?
Yeah, for future reference, should we define that more clearly?
I think so. Cell phones. Or at least say including but not limited to cell phones.
There, that's good.
Did we already address, council will dress professionally?
Mm-hmm.
What, did y'all change that?
What do you mean? What, you got some input over there? What you got?
Well, it says council will dress professionally and present itself professionally to the public. And I think today, everyone has a different idea of what professionally looks like, what professional dress looks like, in such a varied, broad perspective of professionalism in dress code. I just wanted to know if we decided to define that differently, or,
We did.
okay,
Well, at least we did. We had some discussions about that.
Okay.
And so just committee meetings and regular council meetings will be different. So at a council meeting, and I believe someone described it as a business meeting. So that's why we should endeavor to wear business attire. And the way that I thought about it, I didn't say this, but the way I thought about it was if I were meeting a new client, and I'm about to charge you a lot of money to represent you and your whatever, I'm not going to show up in a T-shirt and some shorts or distressed jeans or whatever. I'm going to, at least a suit or something.
business attire, in my opinion, is not jeans at all.
Not jeans at all.
Okay.
But that's just for council meetings because we're handling the business of the city.
Okay.
And we also talked about that we need to hold each other accountable for that. So, and we talked about putting specifically in the rule what we mean. Like, for example, no jeans, no leggings, no T-shirts, no hoodies. So that's kind of what we said.
Okay. I just know that there have been a lot of talk around that, so I just wanted to look
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Yep. So, and I understand that we're not going to get through all the rules today, but I did want to I figured if we started now, that we would get through all of them eventually, and we could come to a committee of the whole, and hopefully by, in the next few months, we should be able to have that meeting and update our rules.
Look, we got the whole first section done.
Yes, that's exciting. So, do we just want to trudge on, or we just want to go to, well, why don't we just stop at this section? That's a good place to break. With the rest of the agenda, I have, so council rules, council charter, we've been kind of bouncing back and forth between those two. Is there any old business that anybody would like to address?
I don't have any old business, but I definitely feel like with the keeping each other accountable, I would like to see our president take that reign and help to enforce the rules. I feel like if that's not in here, it should be, as opposed to one another. I think deliveries can be indifferent. I think it also helps the president, keeps a track of, well, this, I've said it multiple times. Whereas if, Ms. Blythe says, Mr. Steen, you had on that ratty T-shirt, and then next time Ms. Zorb notices it, and then next time Ms. Dewald notices it, they may not have all collaborated like, hey, she had on that ratty T-shirt 35 times. Whereas if one person is the point of contact, then that they're keeping more of a mental log or whatever. And I also think that, Mr. Graver's the right person to do it, or his office, that
Right.
office.
That role, sure.
And because, I'm sorry. And because we haven't finished everything, I think there is something referring to that. It might be in the rules or the charter, but we're just at the beginning of it, so we might be able to
I did
address that
see it in
later.
the next section, actually, which is what made me bring it up. So I'm not real sure if that applies to only that section or all of it. But you all said in the conversation that I came into, being that I was late, that we have to hold each other accountable. And that's what made me, that's what prompted that.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I saw your hand over there.
Yes, I couldn't recall, at the last meeting, Ms. Dewald asked me for list of people on the committee. Excuse me. All of those committees have been active with the exception of 3.
I'm sorry, what was the?
2.5
What was your?
of the committees. You asked for who was on what committees.
Yes.
And I do apologize. It's on my desk. I forgot to grab it before I came in. But 2 of those committees have not been active. I'm not sure why they weren't when I came. So I'm not sure if they disbanded them and just didn't remove it from the charter, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of empty spots.
Yeah.
We're not
On the-
referring to council committees. We know what those are.
Yeah, so even in my research to try to figure those out, I was like, even in any of my positions, I hadn't heard any conversation. Now, one of them was, the one was with the, I believe it was the tax before Ms. Bailey left. Her and Ms. Zorb said they would, I don't even think they got to research and get into it.
Yeah.
The tax commission. She doesn't recall, but I recall. So
Selective memory.
that's okay. We all have it.
Okay. Talking about Rita? Okay, so is there any new business for rules and public policy?
I'm sorry, did you get any old business?
I
I didn't catch it if you did. That's why I'm asking.
That was what I was telling her about.
Not really, because Arias just tacked on to what we were already discussing,
right.
part of council rules and.
I apologize for.
That's okay, you're fine. Okay, hearing none, you know how I am. I like to be very respectful of everyone's time. So it is 7:26 p.m., and at this time, we will adjourn our Rules and Public Policy meeting, and we'll see you in 4 minutes for the Public Safety meeting.
This
Evening, and welcome to the Public Safety Committee meeting for North College Hill. I still had goals on there. Did anybody have anything under goals for public safety? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Police Department updates. I did not receive anything from the Police Department for this evening's meeting, so nothing from the Police Department.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I want to backpedal when you say.
Ms. Blythe, I need you to speak into the microphone.
Yeah. When you say goals, are any of our goals related to requesting more speed bumps? Is that part of our goals?
That's
or-
under traffic calming, which I have under old business.
Oh, okay, thank you.
That was a good question. Okay, and I'm not trying to call anybody out for those of you listening out there in TV land, but I didn't receive anything. So I will move on to fire department updates. I didn't receive anything there either, so nothing there. Street signs. So as I drive through our fair city, I noticed that there are some signs that are clearly visible to those of us who are visually impaired. The signs are big, and you can read it, and they're clearly blue, newer signs. For example, the signs going along Galbraith. But some of the signs are old and faded and tiny. You can't really read the sign. And then there are a few newer signs that are super tiny, like, so there's no consistent size. And I thought, how much would it be? I don't know how much that would cost, but what does everybody think about us making our street signs consistent, like big enough to where you can see it clearly when you're driving along, like if you're looking for a street. It shouldn't be that you have to just be familiar with what all the streets are in North College Hill. You should be able to drive around and say, oh, because I'm telling people, like, you know, you should come to find my office, you have to go to Bake Street, which there was no sign for the longest saying that it's Bake Street, but then now there is a sign, but it's so tiny that you can't see it.
Madam
So-
Chair,
Yes.
you put that to my mind. When we're redoing Hamilton Avenue, will Hamilton get new street signs?
I have no idea. We're talking. I'm asking.
Okay, because I was
I
thinking
think
if
it's a
they
good
get
idea.
new street signs, then we would probably have to get new ones in the community to match, if they're going to do that with Hamilton Avenue.
Well, they is us, so
Right.
we are the they.
You know, the street people, the people, oh yeah, you're right. They're
We-
paving, but we would do the signs.
Yes, the signs are North College Hill, so,
Madam Chair,
On that,
yes.
I was first.
Okay.
On that same note, this council has addressed the issue of street signs within the community, not even the big streets. The signs are just missing. And we've asked, was it 3 or 4 years ago, Mary Jo?
that's what I was going to say.
Yep. Well, shall I let you talk then? Go ahead.
I know, we have brought this up before, and we've said her name several times tonight. It was back in the Amber Bailey days. And I believe we had heard that there were a boatload of street signs back in the Public Works shop, and they were in the process of putting them up. And I know that I got a new sign by one of my side streets. So maybe we just need to reach out to our new Public Works Director and see if there are any signs that can be installed. And if not, then signs be purchased. Because I know it's been done, I'll say, within the last 3 or 4 years.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a fine idea. I just, again, it is just noticeable over that, and I had requested, you know, I pointed out that there needed to be a sign replaced at the end of Bake Street because there wasn't one there. And then the new sign that was put there is super, super tiny, so you still can't see it. Because there's like a tree or something. Now, of course, I can just, at every meeting bring up the street signs like I do Prospect Place, but
Ms. Underwood, would you like,
I can't hear you.
are you going to email Mr. Mr.
Reuter.
I wanted to say.
Reuter.
Combine his whole name. Mr. Reuter, or would you like for Ms. Icky to
I'm not sure of whom you speak.
Braden, he is our Public Works Director.
Okay, I missed the email where we announced who the Public Works Director was.
That was in October, November.
Was there an email?
He announced it at the meeting, at the
Oh.
open meeting.
Oh, okay. I don't know whether I was there or not.
I'm not sure.
Maybe not. I'm happy to email him and ask him a question, but I guess maybe I shouldn't be the person to email him. So I'll ask, Ms. Icky, would you mind emailing him? Okay.
What is his first and last name again?
Braden Reuter.
Ruger like the gun?
Reuter,
Are you,
like Roto-Rooter, but it's spelled
Reuter. Oh, okay.
R-U-T-E-R.
Oh, okay. Like Ruger like the gun. Okay. So we all agree that the street signs we need to, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, wow, okay. No pushback there. All right. That's great. So old business. So we can talk about some traffic calming.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I do like the ones that are on Bising. They're visible, they're not that hard to get over. I'm assuming that our emergency vehicles are not having a problem with them.
Oh, the speed bumps on Bising?
Yeah, the Vising
ones are
nice.
I don't know if
They're very
I've,
effective.
I don't know if I've been on, I've seen them. What do they look like?
They're a heavy black strip. It's, one friend describes it as going over a pipe because it's small, but it's got yellow stripes on it, so you can't miss it.
Okay.
But it does slow the traffic down.
Is Bising the street behind the school?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, those are good ones.
Oh, okay. So I should go over there I should go look at them so I can know what we're all talking about.
Very nice. I think they're very effective, too.
Ms. Blythe.
They're very nice. You see them, even in the dark, and it does cause you to slow down. Those are nice.
And there's a lot
Yeah.
of children that live.
Yeah,
On
near
that
the
street.
playgrounds, yeah.
So what is the actual cost of those speed bumps? Do we know, Madam Mayor?
I do not. At one time I heard 300, then I heard 500.
Per strip,
They come in different.
lengths,
Mhm.
widths.
Different widths, like 3 foot, and I think it's like 3, 3, and 3. I only know this because when they were purchasing it for the school, Mr. Reuter was sending over the information. I don't think it's in my email. I remember visually seeing it, picking it up. So I'm going to say, I'm trying to remember when I looked at the website, but I do know there was like 3 feet, like 3 or 4 3-foot pieces that they put together. Maybe 6. I'm sorry, I do not recall. But I think they're like right around 500.
For each section?
No, for a whole strip.
Okay.
Don't quote me on the dollar amount because we looked at multiple sites that particular day.
And they are wider than the car. I'm not sure how wide my Toyota is, but they are wider. That way you can't try to kind of go around them.
Mm-hmm.
On Bising, they are wider than the car.
Let me see if it's on my email.
I gotta tell you, I am a big fan of the mounds, I'm gonna call them a speed mound, that they have running all through Clifton.
Oh, I like those.
Even in College Hill.
And yeah, the ones in College Hill are deadly.
Oh.
Because you have to slow, at least the ones by Macaulay High School, you have to slow down to like 10 miles an hour, and you can tell all the people who have not because of all the divots in it from they ruined their car. But the ones that are down in Clifton, they're not quite as high,
Right.
and they have a big yellow arrow on them, and they just make you slow down to the speed limit,
Right.
which to me, that's the point.
That's
That's
right.
how
Drive
they
the
are in
speed
College
limit,
Hill.
not, you don't have to drive
Right.
5 miles an hour.
If you drive on the very edge of them, though, you can go a little bit faster.
How do you
Not the ones in
I
Clifton.
don't know, somebody told me.
Well, you still have
Because
2
you
other
can't-
tires.
You can't get around, you can't get around them.
There are two places where they are in College Hill. She's talking over about Macaulay. I think you're talking about back in the neighborhood, like Oakville,
Those are
Hollywood.
different.
Oh, no, yes,
Those
yeah.
are different than the ones over by where she's talking
Yeah,
about.
I know that, but I was saying if you, on the ones that I travel, if you go off to the
And
side.
yours, the ones you're referring to, the ones over by Hollywood, in Oakville. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those.
Right,
Edward,
the ones over by, on Edward, if you go around, you can go around the edge of them and speed up a little bit.
That's what I said.
Yet my mom lives over there. However, the ones in Clifton, you have to slow
You have
down.
to slow down,
Yep.
yeah.
And I think that those would be appropriate because Clifton Avenue is just as busy as, to me, as Galbraith and
Oh,
Hamilton.
easy.
So they would be appropriate on Galbraith down there where we were talking about how people like to go through that center lane. Or we could put some more dividers in the center lane. I'm sorry.
So I think, I don't know if you guys remember this conversation way back when we were talking about the speed bumps, but this is why we opted for
Miss,
the temporary ones. And that was because, wasn't there like some expense that we would incur if we put more permanent speed bumps in? I know we talked a lot about that, where it would cause damage to the street.
well,
Actually,
upkeep
the
of
temporary
them.
ones would if we pulled them up.
If we pull them up, I know we talked about that also, which the temporary ones have primarily turned into permanent ones, that they're made out of like rubber. I just throwing that out there because I distinctly remember that conversation.
I think what we had said was the ones like that are on Clifton and Terrace near UC, we didn't want to use those because of the ambulance and fire
Trucks.
vehicles and things. I think that's why we had opted for the ones that are on Bicing. Someone mentioned that about the emergency vehicles.
well, I think that there's always going to be some pros and cons to these kinds of things. But at the end of the day, I am of the opinion that I am tired of people blowing through these streets and speeding where there are kids and these kids, we are a walking community where these children are walking to and from school, and I cringe, especially on Clover Nook, where it's like there is no stop sign there at all. They just kind of blow through that street, and the kids are just kind of, especially over by the high school, they're all on the sidewalk in crowds, and one of them pushes another one, and somebody's speeding down Hamilton, and that's it. It's like they don't have time to stop, and I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect children to not be reasonable. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, yeah.
It
Those
is
kids, they're just
absolutely reasonable to expect that children are not young people are just not going to think like, if I push him, and he stumbles, he could die. I mean, they're not thinking that way. We should. So I I know that we can cause damage to cars and blah, 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 blah. I get it. I still think that we should do it. We got to slow the traffic down.
Is that on Hamilton Avenue?
Huh?
I guess first of all, let me say
Can you-
I agree. First of all, let me say that. I agree. Like, I've seen the kids rally, especially particularly by the high school on Hamilton Avenue, where I've literally seen a kid push and they've come off the curb, and I'm like, oh, you know. So
Right.
I get it, and I also think that the speed bumps that they have there, in the walkways, have tremendously added to the safety of the kids in our community. I guess I was just saying on other streets, except for those like main streets, maybe we could be a bit more conservative on the kind of speed bumps we put there, for the sake of they don't get as high of traffic and cost efficiency. But I'm totally supportive of a larger effort in those areas where we want to, like, we have high traffic and walking people, especially Clover Neck for the blind. You know, I've even seen like some of the guy or a person over there using their walking stick kind of veer away when they're coming off the crosswalk into the main area. And it's like, if you're going so fast, you may not even see that person there
Right.
before it's too late. And that's so super scary.
Right.
Hamilton
I agree.
Avenue is a race freeway.
It is.
It is.
And I get, when you said that, that's my turning point there, and I see them crossing Hamilton, and I'm so fearful that one of those speeding cars is gonna hit them because they operate off signal. They can hear the sound,
Yes,
and
that's right.
I've seen it. I'm like, oh my gosh, to the point I was gonna just pull out in the street one day, just hit me, don't hit them, because they were, you know.
Right.
So yeah, especially between College Hill and what is that? Dollar General.
Yes.
50, 60 miles per hour.
Easy.
Easy.
Yep.
But I do have you asked the dollar amount for one speed hump, including shipping and without shipping and handling, is $958.85. Shipping and handling, $1238.73 was the last invoice. And it's a 23 by foot speed hump. And the pieces are not 3 feet, they're 4.5 feet. And so it's 5 of those and then 2 end caps.
Is that through Amazon? Can you get them cheaper through Amazon?
This is from Barco Products.
I got to think that they've got, the more you order, maybe the less it would be. There are some kind of bugs that are flying around in here. They're just little bugs. I think because it's so hot in this room.
It is warm, I know.
It's
But
tropical.
I guess eventually we have to, as a committee or a committee of the whole, decide how many we want throughout the community and where the trouble spots are.
Right. I think that we need to just kind of, I don't know. I mean, we've got to slow the traffic down, and we just need to bite the
We're
bullet.
gonna look into
And,
see how much the concrete ones are, to see what that costs.
Okay.
To get one. I would rather have someone who lays those, do those, instead of having our guys do it.
okay, makes sense.
And Madam Chair,
Yes.
the issue that Ms. Zorb talked about down at that end of Galbraith, it's also very prevalent on this side. There is no safe spot on Galbraith.
Right, I agree. There's,
Sometimes when you pull
There's,
out of this light, if you are not cautious enough, you can get hit because they
Right.
run that light all the time.
there's something called speed cushions in parts of Cincinnati, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with those, but they're basically something that it's just what it sounds like. There's a cushion that's placed in the street, and when you roll over it, your car noticeably dips down, but it slows you. It slows you down, or you're gonna notice a jolt in your car. So that's another idea of something
So it's
that we
more
could
like a
do.
divot than a hump?
Right. And it's a cushion, so, you know, I don't think that it has the same impact on like the safety, like the fire truck, the ambulances, but on a car or a motorcycle, you go too quickly over that cushion. You're gonna.
Can you tell me where I've never seen that.
So they had a news article. So if you Google it on Cincinnati.com, they had a news article about them.
Is there
And
like little neighborhoods like up around UC?
around UC, there's a lot over on the west side
I
in
know I've
Price
driven
Hill.
over some in that area.
There's some
Yeah.
over in Oakley, and over in that area. So, and I drove over there specifically to kind of take a look at them. And I have a picture of one, but I don't know where it is on my phone, but I'll find it and I'll
I've even seen some
send that.
get worn after a while. It may have a
Right.
little dip in it, a permanent
Right.
dip.
Yeah, it's just, you know, a way to kind of slow people down because again, just, you know, it's, yeah.
I've seen the fastest traffic to me is, I think between, what is it, Simpson and Pippin, where the golf course is.
Right.
That's a speedway. I think we at one point talked about the little bumps,
Right, the rumble strips.
rumble strips on the middle part where people go in, because
Tend to
technically,
pass.
if you're you're
Right.
slowing down to turn like I do on Lois, it's not going to bother your car. But if you're speeding through the rumbles, that would affect it, because it's supposed to be a turning lane for citizens. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be a turning lane, and
Rumble strips.
yeah, I think we should do something more aggressive than rumble strips, personally. I think that people who drive through those lanes to speed past other traffic, you know, rumble strips aren't going to slow them down. But apparently, these dividers that we have that are supposed to have plants and trees in them over here on on Hamilton Avenue, there's one that stops, that quite a few cars run up on, and I am convinced,
Rock?
yes, I am convinced that it's because they speed up on Hamilton and they're trying to go around and they think that that's a lane and it's not. And they run right up over the divider.
I got you.
And I've seen several cars who have done that, and I'm like, what are you doing over there? That's not a lane. So, I don't know.
I got you.
It sounds like we'll have some prices and we can actually get aggressive with the traffic calming, because for those of you in viewing in TV land, if you don't know, it is always 25 miles per hour in North College Hill, except in the school zone where it's even less than 25 miles per hour. So,
Madam Chair,
yes.
do you think it would be an advantage to have Braden Reuter here to talk about this stuff, or should we? I don't know.
What do you guys think?
Maybe once we get the pricing. Maybe once we get the pricing and the options, then we could have him in and we could have this conversation again.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And for those of you in viewing land who did not recognize our new city manager, which we were all very excited to see, that is Miss Jennifer, is it Iki? We'll mess that up about the next month or so, who is our new city manager. We're all very excited that she's here and she's taken time out of her busy schedule to come to our meetings this evening. Okay, I also have the union contract on my agenda because Chief Schran did send me a copy of that. I don't know if you talked about that in Budget and Finance.
No, but I did put it, I have it, I sent it out with this for our meeting tomorrow, too. So
Okay.
we can start here and then in there tomorrow.
I know that I just sent it just right before the meeting, but that's the agreement. So, and I'm sure that nobody's had an opportunity to really review that.
No, it might be wise
Carefully.
if we just start tomorrow, maybe.
Yes. So, but there it is, and so.
I just want to say, added on to that, the document that he sent me is a little different than that document, but it has the financial breakdown, just the sole financial piece. So maybe we want to take that document along with the Excel spreadsheet that he sent to me.
This,
It's that page, but it's only that page.
this is the whole thing. This is,
I did not
oh,
realize.
you didn't get
So,
the whole thing.
Yes,
Okay.
to send. He sent me the Excel's portion. I didn't realize it was in that packet.
I've got it in my laptop. I can send it to you.
She just sent it out, didn't she?
I
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
That's
You
fine.
get it from her.
Yeah.
Yes, I did send a copy to everyone because I didn't, again, I don't know. I was at the office trying to get stuff done, and I was trying to make sure that we actually had something, oh, there it is. Interesting to discuss at our meeting. I don't like to waste everybody's time, so I wanted to be respectful of everyone's time. Okay, so, new business. Anyone have any new business? Everybody's quiet, silent. No new business? Nothing? Okay, well, any action items? I think the mayor is going to follow up about the speed humps for us, and the mayor and the city manager, and we'll come back to that, and we'll aggressively slow traffic down in North College Hill. I think we could probably also write some legislation or an ordinance that says, speeding tickets in North College Hill are more expensive than they are anywhere else. And then we can be like the new Arlington Heights, where, on 75, there's a certain part of 75 where everybody slows down because that there's a police officer sitting there waiting to give you a ticket. Like they are,
I wish we could invest in those cameras.
nah.
They have in, like,
See, they rule them that they're okay, and then they're ruled that they're not okay. So it just kind of goes back and forth.
They
I
had to
think that.
refund the money from the tickets, didn't they?
Yeah, they had to, some of the cities had to refund the money, but now they're okay again.
Oh, really?
so
So-
let's get them while they're okay.
They're okay as long as there's an officer watching on the camera. So I think that's the current state of the law, and they go back and forth, and I don't want to be the city that somebody sues to try to challenge whether they're okay or not. I like it better, like the Arlington Heights approach, or the, if, a speeding ticket is $500, period. And 4 points on your driver's license. I like that, and just direct that there are no deals to be made on speeding tickets.
As a sometimes speeder, I don't like it.
But
thank
it
you,
would-
Erica.
I know,
No,
but I'm
thank
just
you.
saying, it would, because I'm telling you, there's a part of 75 where everybody slows down, like they'll be
Is that where the two
flying.
walls are?
Huh?
Where the
Right
big
there.
wall? Yeah.
Everybody slows down right around going 75 north because there's
That's
Arlington
Lockland.
Heights. Right before Lockland, Arlington Heights, they were very aggressive about giving out speeding tickets. And so much so that everyone, literally, you could just feel the traffic slow down
See,
going
I
through
think
there.
it bottlenecks, and that's a problem.
Well, probably, but you were going 55 through there, and then it, you know,
It's the same way with Reading and going up Winton Road.
right.
Big hot spots for tickets.
Oh, yeah, when you're going down through Reading in the Bridal District, it's a noticeable slowdown.
Yes.
I mean, everybody slows down going through Reading because they know that there is an officer somewhere. So, I mean, I just think if, you know, if that's what it takes, I just want everybody to I just want them to slow down. Just, you know, in that, you know, in our little, you know, 2.3 square mile radius, just slow
We
down.
used to be a speed trap, but we had a really healthy police department. We could afford to hire more police officers. Now we're so restricted with how many we can hire, you know. Oh, well.
I also think, in lieu of that, I've noticed that on the weekends, we're not limited to the 20 miles per hour in the school district, but that sign tells you how fast you're going.
I like that.
I do too, but there's no governing. So people blow right through there at 50 miles an hour.
Like, yahoo, I'm going 60.
Yeah. So what, you see me? So I feel like a camera there might be beneficial because that's a hot spot for picking up the speed. You know, you're past the little walkway and then you're progressing right through that intersection of
Right.
Galbraith and Hamilton. And they're literally, I'm watching that clock that's clocking people 40, 50 miles per hour. Like, sheesh, you don't have to do the 20, but we don't have to blow through there at
So-
50.
Right.
The
I think
camera
we
that-
discussed that in the business district, cars are parked on the street. And I know what you mean. It's like once they leave Simpson and then once they leave Hamilton, they're out of the business district and then they speed up. So there's something traffic calming about the business district. I don't know if it's so many hidden spots, you know, because the businesses and the cars are parked on the street, but it does tend to make you slow down through the business, most people, because it's just so much more you can't see and it's closer together. I think we talked about that maybe 3 or 4 months ago. How when things are closer together or more congested, people tend to slow down rather than when it just opens up. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, the mayor was talking about the camera. Was that for the traffic lights if you run the light?
Yes.
So would the camera that would catch, that would video them speeding, would that have the same awkward position where we could get ourselves into a lawsuit?
I mean, it's,
Okay.
we can ask Mr. Dieters what he thinks, but I know that they go back and forth. Okay, so if there is no other new business, no other action items, I will adjourn this meeting at 8:10 PM or 8:07 PM. Thank you all for coming.